So tell us a little bit, Carole, what does it take to get you back to do a movie?
A good director. I was so happy when André, because we knew each other, but I mean, we didn't find the script we could do together since years. And when he was working on Unforgivable, when I got the script, I was so happy because anyway, I would have said yes. And I even said yes before I got the script to him when he said, I want to work with you, I have a project.
Because it's André Tachenet.
Yeah, because that was him and I really wanted to work with him. But at the same time, you know, as an artist, could be better, one could be better maybe, you know, than another one, which is normal. I was so happy about the script. I was reading it, you know, like my heart was beating thinking, God, I hope it's going to keep on going to be that good. And then I saw him rewriting it, and he made a fabulous job from the day one until we shot. He worked a year on it and really improved it a lot. So I was already happy when I arrived on the set.
Your character is, how would you describe her? She is a real estate agent in Venice. She is bisexual or omnisexual. She is a free spirit.
Yeah, I would say a free spirit because she's not bisexual. She loves people. Just happens that once in her life there was a woman. Doesn't mean it does say really something about, you know, sexuality. It says that she's quite free about, you know, but it's not a strong tendency for her. It just happened that one day in her life there was a woman, you know, who was important, yes, and didn't stop her, you know, sexually, more than being bisexual, really, as a statement. She's just, she how do you say that? C'est une amoureuse. She's a lover. I mean, that's what is important for her in life. It's love, more than anything, obviously. She gave up many things to be able to have such freedom, to be able to be with who she loves.
And this man, played by André Dussolier, another veteran French actor, walks into her real estate agency in Venice and is looking for a place and proposes that they live together. And she says yes, it seems. And they embark on this very complicated relationship.
First, anyway, they don't know it's going to be very complicated because it starts as a game. Then, yes, they fell in love. But when you fell in love, and that's worse, of course, I'm 50, he's 60, you know, you forget that that life, you know, does exist around you, even when you're young. But if you're 50, you do have a past. You know, you have a previous life. You have a life. And life is knocking back at their door, both of them, you know, quite, you know, strongly and violently sometimes, saying, oh, hello, you did have a life before, and still, you know, playing in you know, in the game, you know, so it's still, that's what happened to them.
Why do you think she says, okay, fine, I'm going to go off with this man and be with him, like this sort of spontaneous thing?
I think at the beginning, really, it's a game. I think at the beginning, you know, when she says, yeah, she said, are you mad? You know, you don't even know me, you know, what is that about? But I think she's intrigued. She's lonely at that moment, and she's very impressed by the man. He's a very famous writer. So by his life, she knows very well what he's been written. So she's impressed not by the celebrity but by his work. You know, so I think that's just at the beginning out of curiosity, and then it becomes love quite quickly for her, which is not his case, you know. For him, I think it stays a game for a long time. Then he's trapped again, you know, and because he wants to write, and because he likes her and starts to be in love, doesn't care much about writing anymore, and then it scares. That scares him, really thinking, God, I'm losing it, you know, I'm losing my skills because I'm in love, because something is eating my life besides my work. So he refuses it and walks away, and in a way for her very painful. But the beauty of that movie, really the beauty of the work of André Tachenet, I think, is, as he's not a teenager, is to say that love is possible. When you say it in such an intelligent way as he says it in the movie, with all the turmoil, with all the difficulties and the ups and downs, life, when somebody who's almost 70, he's going to kill me to say that, but that's his case, says, you know, love is possible. And in life, yes, sometimes you do meet each other. Sometimes, you know, maybe not for a long time, by the way, but I mean, sometimes you do cross the road of somebody and get very close. And it does exist, it does happen. I found that when I saw the movie, and I still find it extremely generous, I like that. I really profoundly respect him for that.
Well, you see,
as an artist,
you see, for instance, this woman who is in agony with the love of her troubled son, who is in jail when the movie begins. We see Andre Dussolier's daughter, who is an actress who has left her husband and child to go off with a drug dealer, and she's totally in the throes of passion to this man that her father can't stand. Téchiné seems to be contrasting the bonds, the turmoil of love through this whole film. What does the title mean to you, Unforgivable?
That everybody, on the contrary, will be forgiven. You know, that's what happens. You know, we do make it work. Everybody seems, you know, to keep on living, you know, to keep on living, and nobody did something. I mean, even though there are violent movies in between each other, they're hurting, yes, they are hurting each other. Sometimes it's just life who is doing it, sometimes it's the person itself, you know, who's really behaving very childish, in a very childish way, and selfish way. At the same time, it's worth, what it means, it's worth living it, and the damage is not that big that you're incapable of living. That's in fact, that's the level of damage you do to somebody, you know, or you can take it or you don't, and it depends also. So it's a very difficult balance, you know, of how much you can suffer, you know, and how much you can take, you know, in your life, that you can keep on getting up and being able to share, being able not to be, you know, to be alive, but also to be able to share, you know, something with other people.
She has a reaction when anything happens very emotionally. She gets a nosebleed. Where did that come from?
An idea we got together that we don't want to explain, you know, fear or violence, and as she seems, you know, quiet and well balanced, then you understand her through the movie, so she becomes more complex, but at the beginning you don't know that about her, but you do immediately have an information that she's somebody much more fragile than what you would think, but she hides it, you know, it comes out in a way that it's not direct, like all of us. I mean, not all of us, a lot of us, through sickness, through whatever, our lives, you know, we do, you know, take the pain, and it does come out in many different ways.
When you first started in movies with the great surrealist master Buñuel, who had been making movies in Chien Andalou from the 30s up through practically the day he died, with that obscure object of desire, what do you remember about yourself at that point? What did you began this brilliant career, really, at this moment in movies, having been a model before that. I mean, what was it like?
No, I was not a model.
Not?
I worked for a very famous company 10 years after that. I was not at a model, I was at the National School of Theatre.
Okay.
So, what I remember is fear. Absolute fear. That was there at least for 10 years. Because as I started, I just was in the National School of Theatre in Paris, and then I made a test for Buñuel. So that went so quick, and I was so shy that it was really a nightmare. I have memories of Buñuel in life, but on the set, it's like a black hole.